And is that mannequin chasing this guy? So let's see what questions we have only on Paranormal, True or False. It is free to subscribe. Please subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Thank you. Who's making these noisy steps? Normally I only give you guys visual analysis, I don't do sound effects. And the reason why is what I just did. I went onto YouTube Studio and I grabbed some sound effects and tried to replicate that sound that he had. And everything I did was editing tricks. I did not get my clip from Dark Ghost Paranormal, but that's where this clip actually comes from. It appears that he makes paranormal videos and doesn't necessarily capture paranormal activity, but he speaks a different language, so I'm not sure. Check out his channel. His stuff is really intense and really scary, so go for it. I actually enjoyed the clip. Is this a ghost orb? Okay, for this one, you have everything you need to tell me in the comment section, what is this? I asked the question, is this a ghost orb? Because where I got this clip, they believe this is a ghost orb. Do you agree with them? If you do, just go ahead and say, yep, it's a ghost orb. If you don't agree with that, tell me what you think that is. Because if you've watched any of my videos, you have a clue what I think it is. So just leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Is this a spectral being? So as these individuals are exploring this abandoned building, they think they saw a shoe or a foot in this doorway, so they're kind of focusing on this right at the moment. But then they hear a noise to their right and they pan back over to the right and suddenly see a figure in a doorway that was not there before. What is this thing? Is it a ghost? Is it a cryptid? Is it an alien? It's really tall because it's almost hitting the top of the door jamb. Is it a living person on stilts? Is it someone in an Angry Bird costume? Needless to say, these young men bolted out of this building after seeing that creepy figure. So I've had this on slow motion so that we could really take the time to try and figure out what this thing is. So I'm going to speed it up to normal speed. So it really doesn't matter what speed we're on or what color we use. We can't really get it to look any clearer. I think it's just a person in a costume on stilts. I just don't know for sure if the people that were operating the camera were in on the staging or not. Is this a manifestation? So we have a night vision camera that suddenly captures this smoky mist. What is that? Is it a manifestation of a ghost? Is there a natural explanation for that smoky mist that comes through that doorway? Is it CG? Is it Video effects? I'm going to show you 5 video effects that are not like what we're seeing in this video clip, but I want you to tell me if it's possible what they're doing is a video effect after you're seeing these type of video effects. So what do you think? Is it possible that this is just a video effect? All editing software have different types of elements for video effects. I've showed you the ones that are free for me to use. I did not find one exactly like this, but you can slow the video effects down, which is exactly what I did on mine. You can also animate these effects so that they come flying into the room. It just depends on how good you are as to what you can do with these video effects. I'm not to that level yet. I can just do basic presets. Is this a poltergeist? As we look at this table, suddenly the box on the table starts flapping open, and then the chairs and the table start moving. Is this poltergeist activity? This would be awesome if it was real. Did you notice the drapes behind that sofa at the back of the room? Why is the one drape on the right hand side swung out so wide? Why does the window look different on the right side than the left side? Has someone rigged strings and is standing on the outside of the house? Well, I definitely have to give them credit for moving the stuff away from the camera and showing that it's going in a direction that is still on camera. Or at least if I was faking this, I would be doing it that way. Just run strings through the window and stand outside the window. Is this a shadow person? This person hears something downstairs and they take their camera that also has night vision and goes into this room to see if there's anything there. They switch it to night vision and brighten it. Initially, we don't see anything, but then we pan to the right and suddenly we see a figure. What was that? And of course, they have the piece of furniture covered with a sheet to add to the ambiance. And in the corner, there appears to be a mannequin. Yikes, that's creepy. But then it moves and is directly behind them. There is a 6-second delay from the time we first see it to it's right behind them. It moved maybe 6 feet, 8 feet. I'm sure a ghost could move that fast, that far. If there's nothing in the way, and I can't really tell by these two scenes, and you have a straight shot, it might be possible to be able to move that in 6 seconds. However, if you have a human being posing as a mannequin, they could definitely make it in 6 seconds. If there's a cut in the film that gives them more time, I don't see the cut. It's definitely creepy, but I'm not convinced it's not staged. Tell me in the comments if you think the mannequin was moved or a human moved. Where did this mysterious figure come from? The camera view starts on the right hand side and it slowly pans towards the left side of the room. And suddenly a figure appears. But when the cameras quickly pan back, the figure's gone. Was that a ghost? Is it a prank? Is it hoaxed? Is it staged? Where did it come from? Where did it go? Something was definitely there. But is it living or dead? The standing light behind it and the two curtain holders kind of give an optical illusion of this thing wearing a hat that's way too high for its head and a couple of fluffy sleeves. But it's definitely not transparent, potentially bald, possibly female. And isn't it the easiest way to get out a picture frame is simply lay down on the ground? So when they panned over and caught this, we're not seeing the floor, but we see the person standing there, and now again we don't see the floor. My guess is it's potentially staged. Is this warehouse haunted? As the security camera watches this warehouse, suddenly the gate unlatches and unlocks and opens wide. Did a ghost unlock this gate? This one is a little tricky because the footage is not that great, so we can't really see the mechanism that had the gate closed. If I could see that mechanism better, I'd have a better opinion on whether or not a ghost actually did that. The fence part itself I can see being done with a string. Typically these type of fence have a wheel on the bottom that help them glide open, but not being able to see that latching mechanism better, I can't tell if it's real or if it's been faked. What is this misty light? On the right side of our screen, we will suddenly see a misty light. What is that? Is it a ghost trying to manifest itself? Is it an editing trick? Is it a hoax? Or is it real? Now the investigator walks away, and suddenly that light moves and gets closer to the camera. Is it an editing trick? I've already shown how he uses a dark shadow to create an editing trick in the last video. I can also show you how an object can be bounced through animation, as well as make it more transparent and slowing down the effect so that you get that creepy vibe. This is an editing element that I reduced the brightness, slowed it down, and made it bounce. I made it smaller and I moved it off to the side. So he controlled the bounce a little bit more, made it more transparent, but it's still an editing trick. Are these ghosts in this morgue? We will suddenly see what appears to be spectral beings. Are these real images of ghosts? What exactly are we looking at? Did these night watchmen actually capture the holy grail of the paranormal community? Or is this editing trickery? It appears to me like there's sharp edges, which is indicative of video overlay, or a compositing where they filmed it twice. We also have some lights that are circling, and that's a video effect. So that channel that I got this from has added this video effect to this footage. I don't know where that channel got this footage from to be able to give you the original footage. Do you see that sharp line in the middle of the screen? That's what I'm talking about with photo overlay. I've taken the exact same footage and overlaid it on top of the other. But I didn't do any type of color matching to blend out that line. They've done a little bit more color matching. Their sharp line is going along the sides of the body or the image. You can still see the sharpness of that edge where they just cut that image out and pasted it into the actual footage. I just exaggerated it more so that you could see it, so you could be on the watch for it. Okay, so I just created this image for you guys. And I'm not looking for pretty or anything like that because I'm going to cut this image to show you that even though we can see that sharp line, it doesn't mean that it's not being photoshopped or not being overlaid when there's not a sharp line. Because you can go into, like this is photo mind, you can go into create an image like I've done here, and then go over here to this free hand selection tool, and it allows me to cut whatever shape I want to cut. And as a result of this cut, now I've got rid of all those sharp lines. So now it would not be as easy to tell that it's been an overlay. But in the example that we've been working with, it is. I don't know if they took two different sets of footage and overlaid them. I don't know if they um, did a masking technique which removes the black and only leaves you with a white gray scale. Um, I don't know if they did a composite where they're showing you a hidden layer within the editing. I'm not good enough at recognizing those different things to be able to know that. I just know when I have a sharp line, that is going to indicate it's been edited to look that way. I know they can do color matching to get things to blend in better. But in this case, they didn't do that well enough, and you can see the sharp line going vertically along the sides of the image. What caused this bottle opener to fall? Suddenly, this bottle opener attached to the counter falls. What caused it to fall? Is this simply a case of wasn't attached correctly and gravity? Was a string used? Unfortunately, because I can't see it clearly enough to know how it's sitting on that counter, I can't tell what's going on with this one. So it could be paranormal. I don't know. What do you guys think? Put your comments in the put your thoughts in the comment section below. Is this a shadow person? We will suddenly see a shadowy figure walk into this room and then walk through another door. It's very slow and deliberate in its walking. But is it real? When it gets to that second doorway and it keeps its shape, it does make me question if this one is real or not. I'm not seeing necessarily the sharp lines, but at the same time, I know that a good editor could completely remove any type of sharp line. And yet it still kind of seems like there's a little bit of boxiness to it, but I'm not sure if that's just the pixelization that's causing that boxiness. But what stands out to me is that other pole doesn't have a reflection on it, as if someone edited out the reflection. And this is someone walking outside, and the shadow actually came in front of that pole, but maybe they edited it to remove the reflection or the shadow on that pole to give it the illusion it's behind the pole. I don't know if it's because I want this to be real that I'm thinking it might be. What are your thoughts on this one? another shadow person, we suddenly will see a creepy shadow from the bottom of the screen moving towards the top. What is that? Well, you know my philosophy on this. It's a bug on the lens. Do you see anything different than a bug on a lens? Let me know in the description below. We can even zoom in, but it still just looks like a bug on a lens to me. Does this man have a stalker? While this man is sleeping, strange things start to happen in his bedroom. First, a bottle will fall off of a shelf and the curtain will blow in the wind. His blanket is peeled off of him. And that's just the beginning. Suddenly, the drape is pulled open and he recovers himself. And then a figure is standing outside of the window. Is he being stalked by an ex-lover? Is this a witch that's interfering with his sleep and causing items to continue to fall off the shelves? Well, this time it kind of wakes him up and he gets up for a minute and turns on the light and that figure disappears. Will it come back? I think so. Of course, the first thing you do when you wake up is you check your cell phone. So he stretches and then he realizes that the drape is open and he closes that. He kind of just wanders around the room and picks up some stuff and grabs his blanket and decides that enough's enough and he just turns off the light and goes back to bed. But now when we focus on that window on the right hand side, suddenly that same figure is going to peek through that window. Watch for it. The curtain will start blowing again, and then it will just suddenly slide open while we see that figure in the window on the right hand side and not the window with the drape. More items fall. Again, he's woken up. He again gets up, decides that he needs a glass of water, and has to hunt down his blanket again. So he, of course, is adjusting his eyes to the light. Again, he looks up at the camera to make sure that that's on and working. And, that little red dot that says it's recording. Um, Again, he looks at his camera, or his cell phone rather, gets himself the drink of water, and still doesn't notice that face in that window. But he keeps drinking until suddenly he notices and falls on his ass. It went from horror to comedy. Oh no, honey, did I make you fall? Sorry about that. I love you. Take me back. No. It's always nice to have the comedy in our horror movies. What is this mystical light? Suddenly, in the middle of our screen, we will see a light that moves in an erratic manner. Is that a spirit trying to manifest itself? Is it a ghost? My guess is it's probably a spider web that is right in front of the camera and is being distorted by the camera and the light's reflecting off of it. I'm not convinced it's anything paranormal. I have to wonder if there's an air vent near this camera and that's what caused it to move and blow out because the air conditioner or the heater came on. I have to wonder if the spider showed up and they cut that part of the clip. Is this another poltergeist? As the man is filming his kitchen, suddenly the cabinet door opens and closes. He moves away from it, but then he sees that the lamp above the table is moving. He reaches up to stop the lamp from moving. He starts to move towards the cabinet to see if he can get a closer look at what's going on there, but it doesn't appear that anything is there. We also see that this is a type of cabinet that doesn't look like it has a handle, so it doesn't look like it would be easy to put a string on it to get it to open up. They would have to use tape on the inside of the cabinet, hidden out of frame, for a string to have been used. It's possible that he bumped the lamp when he immediately turned and moved away from that kitchen, so that could have been what caused that lamp to swing. I don't know how tall he is, but if he was tall enough and wearing a cowboy hat, he could definitely have hit that lamp. He also could have squeaked or screamed and startled somebody upstairs, and their footsteps upstairs caused the lamp to move, if there is an upstairs, or a string could be used on the lamp as well. This is one of those clips where I could see how it could have been faked, but I also see that it's subtle enough that it could have been real paranormal. So I'm not sure on this one, but I do have a rule of thumb: if there's too much activity, it's probably not paranormal. If it was just the cabinet or just the lamp, maybe, but the combination makes me skeptical. So I'm not sure on this one. What do you guys think? Is this creature a ghost? As we watch the security footage, all of a sudden we'll see a misty figure cross in front of the lens. And this is a restaurant, and that is a bug. Call an exterminator, not the Ghostbusters. Does a ghost need a drink? There's a young boy that comes into the footage to get a closer look at this can moving, and so I'm trying to crop him out to protect him, but we need to just focus on the can because it's doing a little bit of a twist. So when it twists like this, could it be a magnet under the table? Yes, maybe. I can't remember if aluminum cans are magnetic or not. I don't think they are, but I can't remember. Too many years since science class or any experiments. And can I just say, I didn't even know they still sold Royal Crown soda, at least in the United States. So I'd love to know where this video is from. And I don't think we would see a string if they used a string. It's possible it's sitting on a condensation pocket and that's what's causing it to move. It's also possible that there is a roach or a beetle or some hard-shell insect that got into the can and it's actually trying to get out. And if it's large enough, and that, opening of a soda can is pretty large, um, it could be causing it to move. So it's possible there's just a bug in there. The fact that it's turned away from them, it tells me that they're no longer drinking it. Even with the uncropped footage, I don't get to see enough of the space to know if there's anything else moving in the house. So I don't know if a plane has gone overhead, a train has gone by, or a mild earthquake is happening. But it is also subtle enough that it could be paranormal. Please let me know in the comments if my analysis nailed it or failed it. The links for other social media platforms for this channel and for Jim is in the description below. Always be safe. It is free to subscribe. Please subscribe. There are many more videos you can watch, and you can click on the attached playlist card to see some of them. Thanks for watching Paranormal, True or False.